Richard, I've heard you've been working on your Russian. Did you do the subtitles for that video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's German. You're not even close. You've absolutely soiled the bed. Coming back to this, though, we will be looking at who's going to step into match 32. Desperado's picking up the first today. Do we see anything else? Do we see signs of life anywhere else?
I say signs of life. It's more consistency for me. TSM, 15-point game, 9 kills in the bag. Same as Desperado's. G2, it's a good little bounce fight. You know what, actually, there's consistency, but there's also a good form here. Desperados and G2 coming off the back of last week. It was a poor performance. Again, Desperados, I want to give them a minor benefit of the doubt due to 3 players being extremely ill. To come back and win a game, you've got to be happy with it. For G2, 4 kills, all right, but still points altogether, 9 with placement to get into 4th place. It's a good sign that when you have this new roster, it's okay going from the best to best and yes, great week this week, everything's going well, this new roster's working. But then when you have a bad week, which they instantly did off the back of it, it's whether or not it breaks that team and whether you can see, okay, the mental fortitude of the captain and your coach is like, okay, look, you know what? Stuff happens. We just got to move on with it and got to crack on, and it's an early sign that things could be going in the right direction.
So out of the teams who just played, kill-wise, who was looking good through that? You kind of had a little high-low moment there, but who kind of stepped up to the plate and got some good frags on the board there? I was kind of trying to work it out myself. Who was looking pretty decent?
Desperado's TSM joint with 9 kills each at the top of the board.
Nice.
GamerLegion, actually 3rd position for them.
Late game. They were coming into their own.
You know what? Well, this is another sign of something we were talking on the desk last week. They were 4th position, but they get 3rd for the simple fact that they actually jump up in points because of the frags that comes with it.
I see. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do then, if this is just the impression we're getting. And I like seeing this. You look to, I guess, Phase 2, Na'Vi coming together as a new team. They dominated. They still look good. You look at this season, we're seeing a lot of firepower coming in from the contenders side as well. If you're looking at new teams coming up to look at, I like seeing that. I like seeing it. I also like seeing Luke. Look at him. Nice to see him back with FaZe.
Aitzy got him a point.
Really?
Just one.
Just one?
Better than no.
Yeah, I guess he did something, speaking of FaZe.
15th place, not somewhere that we particularly see them, to be fair.
Yeah, and honestly, if you looked, a bit of a quiet game for Liquid. They did get a couple of kills. I mean, it's Liquid. You expect them to get a couple of kills. You've won the best arguable players of this phase in your team. But they got in a lot of fights in the south. They kind of got blended in with all those teams moving in from the southern side.
Felt a little bit sorry for N47, to be honest. They had 6 kills in the bag, and they were doing quite well on that western embankment. I'm wondering if they bit off a little bit too much so they couldn't chew, for the simple fact of that once there was a questionable play when they were moving toward, I say questionable, whether or not they took too many fights and maybe put themselves in a predicament where they had too many angles that they had to deal with as they move forward. You had the Knights who was in front of them. You couldn't advance to the north because you had GamerLegion. You couldn't go down south. You had TSM. And then you were so fixated on DA for so much that it held you back. Advancing forward was a bit of a difficult task for them and ultimately put them in the ground. But they were doing well in terms of frags and in terms of manpower. I mean, hell, we even spoke about it. Within a minute, they went from 4 players to nothing. Dead and done.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see. I'm going to wait and see how this all pans out. I want to get a really good idea of things. And it is still Miramar, so you can only take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt because it's a little bit of a skill set when you come into the likes of Erangel. It's a little different. Drop spots are a little different. And Sanhok is just that curveball sitting somewhere in the middle. I'm yet to cast a game of Sanhok, so, well, I have, but it's been, you know, not quite what we used to. It's been kind of either show matchy sort of deals. So I'm looking forward to seeing how teams approach this. It does feel very center-centric, let's say that for now. But that aside, like a bit of what Iro is bringing for the TSM boys, still pulling his weight, even though he did go down early, getting those points on the kills coming through.
For this team, and there's no disrespect to Wookie Bookie in any way, shape or form, the man is a God-given god with a sniper rifle and a bolt action. We've seen what he can do in the past. But for TSM, to add someone who's an aggressive AR player who can shoot like that and really get in your face, it's the perfect, it's just completed the roster in my opinion. And again, no disrespect or BM to series of TSM players that have been before in the past, but by far, this is the most esports-centric roster that we've seen out of TSM. And this is one that could potentially go to Worlds and take home a hell of a lot of prize money.
Very good point. Headsets are on. I'm seeing fist bumps going around. It looks like we're almost getting into game. The hair swish comes into. Very vital, of course.
Don't have a problem with it.
You love a bit of hair swishing,
I use way too much lacquer on that thing.
I can't even say the word hair lacquer. How old are you?
Sound like my mum.
Stop
Christ.
it. All right, it may be Friday the 13th. We may be not quite heading towards Crystal Lake, but there'll be plenty of murder going on in just a moment's time on Miramar. I don't know what to expect. Already seeing the Desperados looking so damn good is exciting. They seem aware of their strengths and benefits from the last game. My God, could they replicate it? Who knows? We are back in the sandy shores of Miramar. Where are we looking, Rich? Where should we be keeping our eyes on at the very start here?
Well, we had a good playing path compared to the Circle. It left a lot of teams that were down in the south kind of hanging around there. Good job from TSM on their rotate, coming from where they like to usually go to be able to take primetime position and bag number 2. But certainly, it left a lot of teams fighting for their dear lives on the edge of the Circle and more down towards the rock side. This time, we start in the north, just over the top of Oasis, a little bit of a water, but not for many teams because no one ever likes to go there, and we will still cut on the eastern side. This leaves a lot of room all the way to that western embankment. If the Circle does come around that place, which sometimes it does, and it can be quite vicious towards that wall, we have a lot of rough rotations over on the west. Anyone that really has, not necessarily a difficult time.
Where's FaZe off to?
FaZe is probably going to take this all the way down. Are they actually going to try and push for Perezzo? Surely not.
That was probably the worst, one of the worst playing paths that they're going to get. So if they're going to adjust, this would be it. I don't know whether you can see N47 like, wait, who on earth is next to us?
You'd expect them to trash loot. I don't think they'll pressure N47. Then I know FaZe is more than capable to drop and take a fight, but they're not the hot dropping team. There's just no point to it. There's no method to the madness. We're not that scenario yet. Could they take an early fight? Absolutely. But they're going to be playing with absolutely trash tier loot.
That's a beautiful Circle compared to what they were going to get. Oh, sorry, with the positioning they've now taken.
That's the respite,
That's
isn't it?
Right?
That's
it.
The reward for going here.
Correct. Yes, you do have trash loot. You may be slower in looting, but now you don't have to worry about those rotations. They could set up a nice little gate camp towards that southern road, potentially, if they want to. They maybe try and hold back a couple of teams. They want to try and maybe get involved. But for now, that's a big, big Circle for them and a nice adjustment.
There could be a scenario here where they get the vehicles and even drive out for the Circle and go loot up elsewhere. Because where they are at the moment, they're landlocked into a corner. They can't go to the north because there's 2 teams there and there's absolutely no gear to be found. It's just an open desert land. They're playing with garages, smaller compounds, houses. mxey does have a vehicle, I can see, so you might just go further afield. The one good point for them on this, bar the Circle itself, is the fact that if anybody tries to swing this all the way around, down to the south and into the southern regions, they'll be able to catch them on the roadside. But the problem is, because of that playing path, we shouldn't expect to see too much of it. Maybe we get some wild, wonderful blue player that just comes in late game. But with the teams that are out there, the Knights, Liquid, and GamerLegion, they're not really the late blue playing kind of teams.
Okay, Rich, I need to ask you something. Do you have any sunglasses on you?
Not right now.
How about
actually,
sandals?
there might be in my bag.
You got any sandals?
No, I don't wear them.
No.
Sun cream all the time. Christ, I get monitor burn with this ginger skin.
Good. Because we're going to the islands.
Okay.
All right? We know it. We're going on holiday. We're going
I've
to
just
the
recently
islands.
booked a holiday to Corfu, so potentially that's a sign.
Oh, that's nice. Maybe it is. Maybe you'll just get a nice little hotel on Miramar. Hopefully the other people there are a little bit nicer than the ones on Miramar. Would be a little bit feisty.
The food isn't the best of...
What, on Miramar?
On TripAdvisor, no. It got a poor rating.
Oh, no. And you're fussy with food as well, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, Brendan's got a lot of answering to do.
Well, to be fair, Rich, I'm sure you'll be fine in a very hot country with your pale, pale skin. Regardless, we are going to go to the islands. I foresee it. It's happening. It's going to be wonderful. I'm excited. Have I ever cast a game that goes to the islands? No. So today I'm getting treated. That's what it's going to be.
It's not really a treat, believe me.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Shut up. Let me enjoy things. Why are you so northern? Oh, look, there's some fun. Nope, no fun, police. Just arrives.
Look, I've lived for many years without electricity and running water.
Down in the coal mines.
Welcome to my pain.
No, I want to go to the islands. Right. Let's see. Does anyone believe? I want to see NELLOZ just head over to that weird little kind of like alcove at the top and just get a boat. Just sit there ready. That's what I want to see.
You've seen teams doing it in the past, haven't you? They just preempt it and get ready for it.
I think if the next Circle even looks like it could be viable, someone might consider it. I'm just waffling because I'm excited by the idea of it. And I thought of like asking if you had sandals. I thought it was being very creative. However, let's look at what we see. It's getting very busy towards the east of Los Leones. Not surprising. You have people now know how somewhat of these circles have tendencies towards what they like to do. And Los Leones isn't a common one it ends on. So you want to go slightly further. I guess, towards the north, potentially, of that. Maybe slightly to the east if you don't want to go too far. So you can see FaZe, see N47, DA, Reciprocity, all of these teams getting very, very close by. Now, there is a lot of compounds there, but there's not that many. Why is he in the water?
It's warm.
Start talking about holidays, is that it?
Just gone for a dip. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Stuff it. If he's fallen in, then he's just stupid. Really quickly on FaZe's position, it's ballsy, but amazing. They've gone deeper into the circle. That will push teams away from that quite high priority compound. The level that gives you like the level, I call it a level 2. You can get up on stilts and look through the little portholes and the little letterbox windows. Not only that, but if the players are still undergeared, those two themselves, because they're so big, they house quite a lot of loot on the floor. Guns, bullets, bandages, whatever you need, generally speaking. If you're missing anything, you can pick it up. So really fast play from FaZe. You could get killed on transition. Teams could have already been there, but they've gone quick, and they've done that on purpose to get ahead of that game. I potentially think, and I'm looking at the map here, I could be completely wrong, that N47, and this is a big brain play if they are doing it, if they're actually driving a boat in the water further up, so they've got a backup. I'm pretty sure Ivol has just took a boat from Paraiso and brought it up to the middle of the map where they're going in case they have to as a backup. And if they have and that goes that way, that is one IQ 9 billion player. He is in Galaxy Brain mode right now.
Galaxy Brain? Why have you gone so far down the rabbit hole of just memes at this point?
That was an Alex tweet, and I've just stolen it. I'm sorry, Alex.
Which Alex are you talking about?
Your Alex.
It's not my Alex, he's CSGO's Alex, all right?
It's close enough.
Yeah, close enough. All right, we have a big old battle. ENCE, no, don't leave. Don't leave. Give me some fun. Give me some fun. Why are you leaving this? It seemed like such a nice idea. Your Team Liquid pulling up. Punish them, Gemty. Punish them for their insolence. It's not worked out. Gemty's not done anything to appease me. So ENCE decide to, go on a magic carpet ride. And there is a trade out. Ibby was up for the fight, and he's been told no. The headshot clearly sped up the time to kill there, but maybe caught him out. So we are going to see at least ENCE stabilize.
I'm fine with the pull away. That's all right. A full force is just going to hit that compound, and you're just bailing it. Fair play. It was the same scenario as before. They have completely bailed on the situation, but before it was a different scenario. So we're okay with that one. We'll leave it be. Lixie's gone down. That's a big loss. Another massive addition, not only just to that team, but to PEL as well. To bring in a boy that's been there and done that across 3 different leagues now, OCE, NPL, and now here. It's a large scamp to lose, especially this early on, first player to fall. For AsiaReg, when you're coming off the back of a 14th place finish in game number 1, that's not off to a good start, boys. I'm assuming that's transitional. I'm assuming he may have just got a little bit close to TSM and died out the vehicle, because the rest of them are kind of in no man's land, to be honest.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost time to send your thoughts and prayers for Island Circle. If you could start the hashtag going now for every single hashtag used with thoughts and prayers for Island Circle, you get 1% chance of it increasing. That's how it works. That's how it works. So do it. We do have MBS maybe getting a little bit close here. We do see, actually they pulled up. I didn't know if they were going to. It looks like NOOKIE might be going for a little bit of a search, and he may not like what he finds. On the other side is a whole lot of the NIP boys. Vard is there, Miraku's there, Gaxi a little further away still in the car, but MBS is on his own, so there is a chance, but the pan of dreams. Why is no one using the bat, we cry, said no one. NOOKIE there, a little bit of a life saved. Gets to have a bit of a glimpse back towards NIP, but they don't seem too fussed by it all. Going to get in the cars and just shuffle around.
MBS is still lurking. He's not making an advancement on that. And that's fine. He doesn't he doesn't have enough information to make a push on this. There could be several players up there. NIP can feed him as much information as humanly possible, but you just don't know what's lurking over that hill. So bide your time. Wait this one out. Speaking of waiting,
our thoughts and prayers.
It could work.
I
It can
appreciate
still
you,
do
chat,
it.
by the way. I see you.
If this
I
yoinks to the east.
Yeet over there, please. Please.
Yeet.
No! Why have you done that? All right, I guess we get a good game in PUBG, but I mean, way to go.
That's a lot of players alive for this circle.
There's actually...
For how condensed that quite is, there's not too much prime territory. Yes, you can go and die bombing Impala and maybe script. You all right there?
Yeah, I'm just dropping pens. I was just
Lobbing
upset
pens.
the chat didn't pray hard enough. We do see a bit of a compound breach. A Okay, so the problem is that not all of Buster's squad is actually here. NIP turned up in droves. They have at least 3 of their team in the right place. We just saw Buster getting a little ahead of the curve. He came in on the bike, so he's a little bit quicker. He got there a little bit faster. Edelweiss on the other side. Can at least get a couple of shots through. Going to keep himself alive for now, but he might have to look for ways to get out of here. It's no longer viable to stick around. Buster is down. He's done for. Vard going to claim it. That's good work. Couple of shots come back in. You see Gaxy's angle. Edelweiss had no chance of getting through that.
They'll lock him down to the backside. There's 2 scenarios here. Either all of NIP just flush him and flood him. You don't want to go in 1 by 1 because he could respond well. This should be an easy refrag. 4 versus 1. I say that. We've seen weirder and more wonderful things happen in the past.
If NIP go 1 by 1, they deserve the death they'll be given, but I doubt they will.
They can't go to the left-hand side just for the simple fact. But yeah, there you go. Now he's dead. Bye-bye. They couldn't go to the left for the simple fact that Seven's holding the angle out in the open. So there was only one way to really go. Just a bit of luck, really, that they went and kind of accessed the door at that time. But either way, he's down. They lose 2 to NIP. Rather unfortunate. FaZe Clan already doing better than the previous round. Senya onto Znark. Where's that? Okay, that's off the backside of La Bendita. So, minor issue is that I think Na'Vi have been pushed into this scenario for the simple fact that Seven's holding the buildings below them, so they can't take residency there. Rec, further afield, they're basically being forced into La Bendita, and they have to try and survive this. There's nowhere to really fight out of it. For the simple fact they go up and over the hill, they skyline. There's 4 members looking from the western side. On the side of the Knights, you go around to the east, Reciprocity, and then in the north, 7. So they are kind of landlocked, unfortunately. It'll play for now. They can play for survivability, then maybe knock a few players and long rotate the edge of the circle. CrowCrowd, again, another team that's proving to be quite passive on this. Even when I think back to the old Windstrike days when the boys were called that, we'd always see them lingering more on this eastern side. It never proves too well for them. If he does hard shift up there, then they're in a good position, but ultimately, they're playing with very little cover.
As you said, for now, pretty much everyone was in... Well, I don't know, there was a couple of teams who were further out in the circle, but not by much. This was quite a comfortable circle, at least in the way of having to work your way in against the blue, but teams want to get better positions, they want to get a little further ahead, get prime positions to the next circle. Team Liquid opting for a 2-2 here. And these days, that's a little risky. Senya managed to find Znark. They're going to confirm that. So it looks like, for now, most teams are safe. And I don't see any big engagements. If you do see Nox, I doubt they'd get flushed at this point, unless they're being a little ridiculous or going for something a little bit crazy. And let's see where this heads to. This could be quite the deciding one, just purely because of the amount of teams we have still alive, and players for that matter. Sometimes you would see this many teams, but not this many players. Again, still a relatively kind circle. The issue becomes the teams on the south don't have much territory to get towards, and you already have Team Liquid, Desperados, holding quite ambitious splits too. The Knights can shuffle in and hold it. DA sending it in. This is going to be a rough one for them. They might have to opt for just a small shack somewhere. There isn't much to take on this side, and Team Liquid are going to be pulling themselves into their full 4 players together here. That's a nicer move from them. I quite like that. We're seeing still shots coming through, but none really landing. DA have gone away with it for now.
So for Liquid, it's not the best place in the world because it's quite OD is actually putting up on this. They won't know they're there. They're going to be hidden, so they won't know they're there. So they turn up, they're going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, this does look like a lamb has willingly walked into the slaughter as James already finds Mert. That might just instantly ring the alarm bells, but here comes the next bit of maneuver. FaZe walking in towards Desperados. This is what I was saying, that southern side. It's brutal. There's not many good options here. DA pull away. They're looking to find a new place to call home. It does look like they found the other compound the Liquid were 2-2'd in towards previously before they consolidated back to their full 4. FaZe still clashing towards N47. You've got Desperados from a third party. And again, it's going to be a matter of who claims it. T-Bone, I love seeing this guy in the PEL. I think he's got such talent. Already going to be fine mxey, but the steal was there. That comes through. The Desperados, just like vultures, looking across the land for anyone they can swoop in on.
Just be aware that Desperados have basically been battered into this position as well. They went towards and scouted Liquid, and then all of a sudden the warning shots came across. There was no trade-off, but then again, you're not necessarily doing that when you're just shooting at an enemy to keep them at bay and peacocking them. They're now in this scenario where they've got eyes on 2 teams, several actually coming out the side of Impala. To touch back on Liquid's position, no one really knows you're there for the simple fact that it's got a curve. You think, well, there's no compound, it's going to be open. It's not. There's a ditch, it's a road. Nobody is going to run the central road at this stage in the game because they will openly die instantly. So Liquid's position can kind of deter enemies into certain spots and decide where they go. Hence DA, they've been forced into their location where they are. Hence Desperados. The main prime territory at the moment, depending on the next circle, for me, TSM and Raise Your Edge. If this circle goes up there, TSM, they have the road, no one's going to go near them, very open terrain around them. If anyone wants to come walk in their way, Raise Your Edge, solid, defendable compound.
miikaz getting wanted. The rest of the Knights are turning up. Reels off the bike, holds the high ground. This is where he can put his foot down. Switching over, not maybe the idea he'd wanted, maybe just trying to get the points before he went, but didn't work out. And instantly pushed that, no hesitation. Quick little revive going to come in. Yeah, they're not in the best position, but they've also come out of the south okay for now. If they can avoid Desperados and DA picking them off at this point, they do have some distance there. But if they're on foot, once this circle moves, they're dead in the water.
Circle's about to punch in. See where she goes. Will it be Savage?
Oh,
it will.
That shift.
That is a hard shift and a half. Up to the northwest we go. Na'Vi, kind of bit of a gift for them. I talked about La Bendita, how it was a saving grace for them, but also a gravestone. They'll be able to linger. Once you pass this, you can't do too much. Coming out of it, coming down the hillside, you're going to be exposed. They're going to have vehicles they can work with at least, but you don't go too far. Liquid actually might punch in towards TSM. This could be a...
They need to crash something, Rich.
There's nothing else really to play for. That's a Tiagom.
Oh, no. Oh, no, and it's TSM. TSM getting vision on this is not good. They have some firepower ready to go. Good tags, and there it is. Rory going to connect towards Ibby. You do still see Gemty nearby, but I don't know if there's a revive possible. It will be Reciprocity to pick up the kills. It could have been maybe Na'Vi if they want to get into it. And it looks like DA's piling in. Everyone is throwing shots towards Liquid. It's just a pile-on right now.
This comes off the back of a hard shift. NIP were a little bit proactive. They sent one, well, left one player behind, excuse me, and sent the rest towards.
Oh my God, Desperados, the spray. Oh no, Squeaky's done for as well. The bike, I'm pretty sure the front tire went on that. It looked like it had gone as the nose just flipped out, but now here comes the brutality. We had 16 teams alive until just a moment ago, really. We're down to 15, of course, but 50 players is a great deal. This is going to be messy. You've got G2 right past CrowCrowd. You have ENCE trying to pull up, and that's going to be Liquid on the other side there. SIMSY's still in this, so is Gemty, of course. Rustanmar's in danger from just about everywhere. NIP wants in on it, but there's Rory finding Reciprocity. Rustamar goes down. That's Na'Vi funny, so the men on the hill, the absolute kings up there as G2 work their way forward, coming in from the northeast.
And again, these two teams have to take this fight. CrowCrowd have to go on the defensive. G2 need to basically just batter them out the way and enable them to move into the circle. CrrizZ is going to go for the off angle. He's going to go deeper in the vehicle. What damage you can do with the backlines might dictate how this game goes down.
Aitzy.
Really quickly at the back, I'm sorry to break you off here, Lauren. DA has actually pulled up on Reciprocity. The problem is that Rec have actually lost a player through the window. Skuma's gone down. They're going for the res. That comes off the back of Na'Vi seeing him through the windows.
But DA push this? They have to breach high ground.
They are being very passive and just sitting at the doorstep.
For once, I don't blame them. They have to go over the lip. There's a ridge before you get to that compound. Na'Vi can probably see them. Anyone towards the east could see them. They might just have to hunker down on that corner. As much as you want to get in on that, I think them running that hillside could have been an error. We'll find out. They might be dead regardless. TomiL holds back ubah. That's FaZe down in 15. That's a bit disappointing. Really not good placement from them. And a little bit of a quiet game, if I'm honest. N47 suffering a pretty similar fate for now, just because they're walking in from the blue here. Impala was not a nice place, a not kind place at all to these players. And G2 going to find their movement, moving away from CrowCrowd, but here comes GamerLegion, another team who've been impressing me so far, but they're fighting up against Raise Your Edge, who have the compound.
Bjorn's behind enemy lines, and I don't necessarily... Oh, yep, they do. I've just seen SIMSY lob the grenade that way, and it has done the damage. On the side, Ultra, Vazku, Page, they're all dying. Ira onto that one. Desperados lose one. SIMSY still trying to go forward with a confirmation of the grenade. That's a beautiful turn. And basically just free taps him. See you later, buddy. But Bjorn at least answers back. Now he's Rosie's head. He needs to get involved in this fight.
Yeah, this is a scary one, though. You're fighting against people with cover. Koldamenta does have a nade. Is it ticked? It doesn't matter. Bjorn's moving forward. Good aggression from him, but will there be a response? If they just push back into this quickly, it could be really nasty. Bjorn needs to just make his mind up. Does he go for it or not? He's in a terrible position. He just stuck towards the side of the wall there. I guess he was maybe trying to listen out or find sound or something. The blue was close by. I get it, but the problem is Razor Red had two players there. mxey peeked out really well using the different angle. Koldamenta's succeeding against Fex. So again, finding success pretty much on both fronts. Very individual from these two, but really nice synergy in the way they're focusing this out. GamerLegion with just one player trying to breach in against two angles with no idea where they could be. He's at a big loss here.
I think Bjorn, he may have just second questioned himself for a second.
Oh no.
Makandak
Why
instantly.
overextend, Koldamenta?
With the flush, you can see him now behind the boxes. That grenade should give away the information, get his health back inside. If that goes in, though, that'll be a beautiful 1-2 bounce. But you could see the aggression was good to move quickly like that up against the wall and get stuck in. That's what I was expecting, but he didn't. He hung back for a second. It cost him his life.
I'd rather not do that at all. Just sit there and hold the angles or do something together. It's about that synergy, about working together as a unit, denying angles, denying cover. Na'Vi moving off the hill, though. Bit of a 2-2.
I like it.
That's very nice. They basically locked out that whole cluster of teams in the south. We are seeing, it looks like miikaz finding the remaining member of GamerLegion. So that's good work from him, pushing away to do it. Down with only bandages, brave maneuvers coming out, but they then have to cross the biggest open field. But I want to keep looking towards that southern cluster. When that pops off, it's going to be wild. Reciprocity between DA and Na'Vi.
And the thing is, when you think about other teams that are a little bit more passive, they would have stayed in La Bendita and then probably died on their exit. Na'Vi's actually moving up to a scenario where they want to find a good place to live. And they know that at the moment where they've gone is the best of both worlds. Sixmo looking for the confirmation onto Scoom.
They know it. I like this, and I like the maneuver. They've risked going in the open somewhat.
Na'Vi's doing the same.
And they're just trying to leapfrog. The issue is, if you actually look at this, look at the terrain, there's a little bit of a gap between where maybe Na'Vi can see. I don't know if maybe BestLodge has an angle on that. I'd be very, very curious if you could see DA. DA are moving in here. They're going to hold an aggressive line against Reciprocity, and that's very smart. They leapfrogged Reciprocity's better positioning to get there. Now, they don't have the blue on their back anymore. ABeautflDeath has a nice off angle. Might catch out Monkey on this unless Udir ran that way. He doesn't. So now ABeautflDeath can commit to this. He should be able to hear the steps. That molly is so close, but it's not close enough. Monkey may not check the deep corner. Lovely shot with the AK, that headshot. Bailing him out of bigger trouble, but fighting his way forward. This man's got talent. He needs the rest of his team to stand up and help him out. He needs to get that heal off. Just about does it in time to move forward. Now the next step, the next layer, the next line of defense stands in the way, but now they have cover. And sadly for Reciprocity, they're going one by one here.
And ultimately it does cost them their life. So the pressure from two different teams does send them packing. Na'Vi turned up at the right time though. Now they could clean up, saying that Mitraleius goes huge, picks off one. That's Senya, overextending just a little bit too much. They clearly had the angle read and were waiting for them to do something. Do we have any utility on the side of DA? Because if they do, now's the time to use it. Abuse those mollies, abuse those frags. Maybe take down a second player and make an advancement on it. But I think BestLodge will apply so much pressure with his utility, they'll be able to get hit the res.
Yeah, I don't know what DA's options are. There really isn't much good for them. I don't know if they could run that route. I think they know that as well. They're going to opt for the low ground, maybe try and work their way around, surprise one of the players who are trying to hold the kind of outskirts. Now looking at TSM, wonderful to have 4 players alive, but it's the next step is going to be the toughest one for some of these teams. DA tried to move away from Na'Vi, but now they get in the sights of TSM and anyone out towards the east. miikaz. And it's going to be Vard finding it. Big old shot, pretty far away from the other side. miikaz was happy down here. He didn't want any trouble. He didn't want any bother. And he gets forced into the fight. DA could not necessarily trading, but they do go down to him in the end. Gustav steals away miikaz, so that'll be ENCE down in 8th, unable to snake this time. But let's take a look at the circle, Rich. 7 teams.
It's golden.
There's the sound.
It's not a green machine, it's a golden beast. If anyone can use it, it's MBS. Opting to not waste his bullets, and I'm fine with that. Because all these boys have to do is try and tap away and find Timmy hiding over there. TSM, 10 kills in the bag, 10 points instantly. That's good. They've already beaten the previous round's record. Samty kind of spoke about it. It's a little bit of a meme in the middle of the map, holding on for dear life. Doing what he can. He's got a minute. It's not the best breachable weapon should anyone turn up. You kind of need it. Krabic with a... Ooh, cycling the nade. This could be good. They're out in the open. If that lands perfectly, that'll be 2 for 1. Job done. Bye-bye, boys. Vehicle goes up, and now it all comes down to BestLodge.
He is in cover, at least for now. He is in the circle, so if you're BestLodge, you might just try and hunker down and just not move. You're just going to play the circle and hope others die in the meantime. I want to look at how TSM play this. They do have the East, but NIP are going to have very, very good vision towards them potentially down the line. Now, again, this is why I like the moving up now while they're fighting. This could be a really good bit of insight, a good bit of play from them. Ivolo in the back, Dagger in the back potentially, and NIP on the move themselves. Maybe trying to lead that compound, trying to secure their future, not just their present, but it could haunt them now. Oh, Ivor, look at that vision.
I could kind of see what NIP were trying to do there and maybe move into a better position for when they are forced to fight TSM, regardless of the next circle. Don't know how it's going to be. But Sadovnik actually just slowed them down. Those 2 or 3 bullets that he fired, it didn't make any contact, but all of a sudden, all of NIP have now retreated back into their own compound. That one solo player has basically halted their maneuver on this map. We'll see how it goes with this circle. Does go their way, keeps them in, but TSM also do not have to move. Sadovnik, Bestaloch, Ivol, all individual snakes, they're not going to do anything. Worst case scenario, they knock a player from either NIP or TSM, but they're so far in the open and so far against the blue, they might even just commit to it and say, you know what, take me, I'm not bothered, I'm not going to give any points away.
Looks like 7 on the move. Might be SIMSY to get it if it goes at this rate. I'm not sure who's got line of sight on that now. NIP do, but it is from pretty far away. You're threading the needle on all those shots. But it is mostly the snakes out towards the western side. So, oh, look at this timing. Gaxi, this is a really good read of timing. That's a really good shot from MBS, though. Placing the bullet with precision to the brain of SIMSY. And now we're down to 5 teams. Sadovnik still alive. Bestlodge still alive. But Sadovnik might be in danger. And another for MBS. This guy is just... He's an animal with this gun. Give him the gun and he's just going off. But look at the play from Gaxi. That, to me, is such a highlight move from him.
What you have to remember is these solo snakes, picking them up like this, not only is a point per kill, but you're jumping in placements. These go hand in hand. Points make prizes. While all this has gone down, Gaxi has moved into a position that he potentially could surprise TSM. If they go over this hill, if they step on that snake, this could be the downfall for their win.
And that'll just force Ivor into the fight, which I kind of like. It looks like Bestalosh has shot Bestalosh.
That's a new one.
No one knows how it happens, but, you know. Vard keeping eyes across, maybe try and play for the bait here. Vard makes the shots, looks for it, sees if anyone's going to take it. No one does. Might be time to move up. Iro might be the first. Gaxi, look at this. Look at this set piece they're trying to work out here.
It's cooked.
As soon as they hear steps from Gaxi, they might get that nade going.
He's holding it because he can't let the pin go. If he lets the pin go, they know he's there. Initial one's the warning shot. They're doing this as a distraction. This is amazing. While this has been going on, MBS actually run across the map. Remember, he has the AWN. Gaxi has distracted them into a position that now all of a sudden MBS could play a vital point to this.
MBS should have just won them the game there, if I'm honest. That is literally a winning move. TSM, in theory, they could still frag out here. That's the thing. But the problem is you looked at it, Ivor could have been a real problem. But I say this in the best way. Tactically, NIP just outplayed them. Because now look at that circle. They have to run the road. There's no two ways about it. And MBS just can keep punching them back with his Orm. But if TSM frag out, if they have utility, if they get that one pick, it could still be game on. NIP preparing themselves, though. It's 30 seconds to game time. Now, NBS does have the circle, but none of the other players for NIP do. They can play the roadside a little bit, but Iro now needs to hold the line. He needs to hold that far eastern front and allow the rest of TSM to try and work something out here. If he gets a spot on Gaxi, it could be game on.
Rory onto Miracle. Time to go. 1, 2. Thank you. All of a sudden, this game has turned on a pinhead. NIP have been split 2 ways, and all of a sudden,
many bullets,
MBS is literally on his own. And how many bullets? Not enough to take down
6.
TSM. This is, he will have to go absolutely ham.
Well, there's the first
to
step.
make this happen. Can he do this?
That's the first. Are you... Oh my god, don't you dare, don't you dare. All right, that's the first. He has 1 nade, 1 smoke, and he's got an Orm. He's spraying in. He's got the knock on 1. They're probably going to get the revive. You need numbers now. They're in the circle. They're in the game, but you do not peek 1 by 1. You play it smart. You double peek this. You get the nades out. You use your utility. You go through every motion because there's a threat of danger, and it is MBS. Gun out now. Wide peek on the reload, a little risky, but I like this from Michael. That's smart. You're denying area of defense. He can't sit behind it safely anymore. The nades are coming through. A 10-kill game for NIP is more than enough, but a win for TSM is better.
The idea, the format, everything looked really good. To put a player out there on that angle with such a dangerous weapon, and in man's hands who can do so much damage like that, you saw flick shot, headshot every time. It's a good idea. The problem is the grenades from TSM were so much better. They opened this up. Ira held points. Miraku unfortunately fell victim on the side. They swoop, they seal the deal, and it's job done. It's a TSM win. Good game from NIP at least. Few points in the bag. Again, picking up those solo snakes, give them placement and points also. But still, holding your nerve, holding utility to the moment when it matters most is what TSM got them the game.
Yeah, and I'm actually really happy. You got to say it more often than not. We'll see teams make mistakes in those pressure moments. You only had to look across, at the last big international event. How many 1v4s did we see? How many times did you say, why didn't they use your utility right? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And it's the pressure. It mounts up and it gets to some of these teams. That was what played out from TSM, crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, and just going through what they need to achieve.
You look at it on the other side, Miraku's initial frag that he had, if that would have found contact with one player from TSM, that would have been the go sign. You'd have still seen MBS making that maneuver, but the rest of them would have swooped and cleared. It would have just been a quick sweep, job done. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out like that, but either way, cracking game from TSM. Fair amount of points in the bag off that one as well.
Well, I believe that's enough from us. Let's hear from Sam and the boys who just picked up that win.
Sims just said it, a lot of points in the bag. I do believe, and I stand to be corrected, obviously when we go to the analyst desk, they'll break this down, but I think this puts you at the top spots in the standings for Phase 3 now. Challenging circle though at the beginning. So walk me through this. What was the game plan? Do you change that up when you see how that circle's fallen?
I don't know, we kind of felt bad about committing to that compound, and I think we did in the second circle, because we know that if it doesn't go in our favor, you won't have your vehicle safe, and you'll basically almost have like no options to what to do. But we still committed in the second circle, and it ended up being a really good circle for us. And that compound is like, if you do get the circle around in that area, you can do so well and you can get so many kills. So yeah, that was what happened.
At the end there, did you know that NIP had that player who had done that rotation and was sort of hanging out behind the back of you?
Yeah, we knew that. We just said that the other three guys in the compound, they had to leave before us, so our focus was just that we would smoke the guy off the left, and then we just focused on the other three guys, and that's what we did basically. We killed them, and then he was a solo. He couldn't really help them if you just put a smoke on him, so that was good.
So when I'm chatting to you here, there's a lot of confidence, and you can see that you guys are obviously feeling good. I mean, you have just got a chicken dinner, but definitely a change in style here. A lot of people talking online about the addition of your coach DIDZ. Has he made a difference to the team morale and the way you guys play?
Yeah, for sure. DIDZ and Iro have been, it's been really good. I think we have more like professional view of the game now, and we don't just be like, oh, we didn't get circles. We try and figure out how we can get into every circle in our best way, and we never just say that we were unlucky. So that's basically it.
It's not about luck, it's about the skill, and I hope I'm not wrong, but I do think that your skill has got you to the top of that leaderboard. Let's check with the analytics desk and make sure that I haven't just made a bit of a blapse.
TSM, that is correct, Sam, pushes themselves up to that first place spot here in this week, as we do have, of course, them getting a pretty decent lead up there as well after that chicken dinner here for the day. Gentlemen, joining me for us, Avenger, they've been able to rack in some decent points in 2 games.
I mean, if I done my math correct, they should have 41 points in 2 games.
That is potentially record-breaking.
Yeah.
I would love to see them continue.
On
Also,
pace.
if they continue this, obviously they also have a lot of wins now.
Yeah.
If they get a win here in Sanok, that'll mean they're also one of the teams to join the trio club of getting a win on each map, which I doubt. I don't think we're going to see a lot of teams do that, even when we're done with the whole phase. Maybe half max, where it's going to be able to catch a chicken dinner on both maps.
Can we call it the Chicken Dinner World Tour? Is that what it is?
We
the
can call it the World Tour, yeah.
The Chicken Dinner World Tour for now.
The World Tour is completed, yeah.
All
We
right,
can call it
let's-
that. I'm down with that.
Yeah, cool. All right, here's the highlights here from game number 32 with TSM taking the victory. And overall, of course, they got themselves the 2nd place overall in points from first game as well. So you guys said 41 points.
Yeah.
50. How many points was the record for a full day?
52 or 53, I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure on it.
It's somewhere around. They're most likely going to break that today, though.
Maybe.
But on the other side, we've also seen NIP now and DESPERADO with some really good showing so far today as well. Currently, they've been sitting on 11th and 13th place, and they really need to step up, though, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit in, or they don't want to be in close of the reach of being into the relegation zone. You don't want to be bottom 4. Then you're going to have to play against the 12 very hungry contender teams that's going to be playing there as well.
That's true, and we saw how that played out in promos last time around.
Oh,
so
yeah.
very important to try and avoid that kind of situation, of course. And once again, when it comes to some of the final circles in this game, we've seen some of the endings even in this phase already in these areas, and it can be brutal to deal with.
Yeah, of course, and it comes down to the tendencies of the circle, of course, that the teams all know about. TSM, they played out very well. And I mean, you had Liquid taking the compound in south there. They also knew, hey, there's a high possibility that the circle will go towards us here in the south. So they wanted to secure that. Now, it didn't work all the way for him, though.
So initially we thought NIP's move to try and take that shack was a very smart one from MBS to be able to take that spot on the other side, but Avenger, it really felt like he wasn't able to help out the rest of his team on the other side of the circle.
No, for me, like you should have been able to have 2 guys there. Otherwise, if you get knocked out there, you're in an off angle with no chances to rest.
Yeah.
But I like the move. I like the idea of an off angle. Usually it works out really well, but those nades really completely shut down the NRP progress right there.
This is normally what we see on 1 to 8, but this is actually 9 to 16. Having FaZe, Liquid, G2, 3 of the top teams down there.
Now let's take a look at our 1 through 8 now. TSM, 26 points coming in from them and 16 points for NIP. Extremely top heavy. TSM was lining them up, being able to grab them Hunk, Lang and Sinker from their compound that they had. A very relatively simple win for them overall.
Yeah, but also Gustav said this. They were debating whether they should take this compound or not, because if it does not end where you're like, you're able to run from there, you're going to lose all your cars because the compound is really open. Yes, you do have a lot of places where you can shoot from. You can kind of run pretty safe in between the houses, but your cars, all the tires are going to be taken there. You're not going to be able to leave in your cars there, so you need 2-seaters.
Sometimes you just need to take that chance, that risk, and this time it paid off. And look here on the damage from TSM, over 2K damage. Compared to NIP, only 1,400, It's still good, and I mean, they got themselves 10 kills as well.
But they were also in the northern side fighting for a long time, and they didn't have that many teams to kind of fight around and put damage towards. But overall, NIP played this whole game really well. I love to see some of those finishing knocks on the solos or laying around on MBS. Actually managed to grab 2 kills on 2 solo members, eliminating those teams, so that was really nice to see as well.
Big presence here from TSM up towards the top, and NIP as well. NIP, 5th place in the first game, 2nd place here as well. So overall, their day has started off nicely, and especially nicely considering that coming into this week, they were in 12th position, which obviously is NIP, a team that has been to classics, etc. Like, you want to be pushing further.
I mean, yeah, we also saw them in PGI getting 3rd place twice with the old team before they were picked up with NIP, which was Welcome to South Georgia.
Last as well, yeah.
And I mean, basically, they've just done a small change since then. And they were pretty unhappy with the result last week, NIP. The players, the manager themselves. But this time, they've turned it around so far. Hopefully, they can keep on going on this way because we want to see them in the top 6 overall.
Yeah, and so far, they're doing pretty well. 23 points so far today. If they continue this, they're really going to be able to step back and kind of jump back. Last week, or week 1, 66 points. Week 2, 69 points. Overall, really poor performance compared to what we really kind of believe from these guys are capable of.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see them kind of jump back. I hope they're going to be able to continue that because we expect them definitely to be up there contesting for the PGC spot. I would say I'm expecting them to be in the top 6, top 7 position, or at least contesting for it.
I mean, they should be.
Yeah, they got a few weeks, few games to be able to try and kind of gain those positions, of course. Now that is done with Miramar here for our first day,
and we're exactly 33% through of phase 3.
Exactly. Ooh.
On point.
Wow. Thank you, Avenger.
Quick maths.
Brilliant. One thing that I do want to ask you guys is going on Sandhawk. Obviously, I wasn't able to be here in the hub for last week's Sandhawk games. What did you guys take away from Sandhawk last week coming into this week? Because obviously our first week was very clean cut for some of the teams that were playing Center, a lot of edge play, etc. What was going on in week 2?
So week 1, we saw N47, for example, dominating on Sandhawk. Last week, they were a little bit more unlucky, maybe to say. They didn't play as well at all on Sandhawk, and hopefully they can change that up. Because we know that they're really good on Sandhawk. They've been proving that to us. And hopefully, it will just turn around.
And a lot of changes in drop locations. We saw G2 kind of move away from that. I had a pleasure of talking with Copper Magic real quick. And they're going away from the Northwestern Island, even though we've seen a lot of circles up there, definitely in scrims and some of the public games. So they're going to try to go away from that. So what I expect from this next game here is more contesting in some of the areas, because there's still some open locations that are not as viable.
Sure.
And there's some other ones that are really viable that are going to be contested.
Are you still talking about Camp Bravo?
No.
Camp Bravo.
Well, he loves Camp Bravo.
I like Camp Bravo as well. I'm on your side, right?
I'm a query kind of guy, so.
Well, okay, he's crazy. All right. Of course, you could be joining in on all the action at home as well with the hashtag AskPEL. Later on in the broadcast, we're going to be taking a look at some of those questions. And again, who's the best ginger? You know, Anyway, so of course, we're going to go to a short break as well. And then when we come back, we're going to be starting out with Sandhawk. But let's hear from Bjorn from GamerLegion before we get there.